Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about another USA made AK, and this is the first time you're seeing it on video, but this is not the first time I've fired it. We've already zeroed the rifle in a previous range session and shot a wide variety of different ammunition through it and had some fun with it. So we're probably 300-400 rounds into the gun already, but I wanted to talk about it and give you guys an idea of what's to come. It's a Riley Defense, and this is their classic AK-47 model. Has a Bakelite grip on it. Has new laminate furniture. So this is not actual military laminate furniture. This is a reproduction, and we'll talk more about that in the video. And the rifle has a forged trunnion and forged bolt and carrier, and it has a nitrided barrel. It is not chrome lined. And so I got the rifle primarily because I saw Rob Ski talking about them. Now, he's been testing the rifles for them. I know that they're working through some issues on their AK-74, but that's a completely different project than this particular gun. I believe Rob's had fairly good luck with his AK-47 or the Riley RAK-47 or whatever they call it. I call these AKMs for the most part, but he had pretty good luck with the Riley AKM, and so I wanted to see it for myself. And I believe this is the last one they had in stock when I got it. And so it's in the configuration that I typically like. I like the wood furniture. I was really interested in seeing the laminate because a lot of companies have attempted to make AK furniture here in the United States or even outside the United States to be used on AK production here in the country. And I've just not liked any of it. So this is more attractive to me, but there's some issues I will talk about in the video. When I first got the rifle out of the box, there was some corrosion on the rear sight, pretty heavy corrosion, some corrosion around the rivets and around the rail mount. And I think that's just a process of the bluing. And so when I scrubbed it with a toothbrush and some oil, all the bluing's intact and the finish is just fine. So I just had to clean it up a little bit. The rear sight was sticking just a bit as well. And it's interesting to me because we've seen the shutdown of the imports of many of the different AKs that we've wanted on the US market, primarily coming out of Russia. We'll see a slight trickle of Arsenal rifles coming in from Bulgaria. We still see the Wasser 10s coming in, but I mean, those things are hit or miss. They work fine, ugly as sin, and the sights are almost always wonky on the things. So I'm really looking to see what companies in the United States are going to do and what they're going to produce. So we're going to feature their firearms here on the channel and share our thoughts. And so this is a first shots video on camera to talk about the Riley Defense Classic model. And I'm going to kind of compare it as we go along to some of the other US options that are out there. But it's good to see that companies are spinning up to make pretty good quality, if not great quality, rifles. We don't have to put up with the stuff coming out of Century. The RASs were a complete travesty. I wouldn't recommend those at any cost, so you're not going to see us talking about those in this series of videos. But the Riley Defense, I see people talking smack on them because of one of the managers or something. They may have been associated with IO Inc. in the past, stuff like that, but this is a completely different company. So far, I found that when I went to zero the rifle, I just had to give it a little bit of elevation. The most minute amount of windage, as you can see, the front sight on this rifle is not wildly out of whack, and this rifle is currently zeroed. So it's nice and true. It's very much like my PSA AKs that I've been shooting. And so let's do a little bit of shooting. In our testing, we like to use different types of magazines. That's one of the downsides of the AK, is the variety of magazines. It'll be fine, it's an AK. The variety of magazines that are out there on the market, and they really have to work with them all, from P-mags to Chinese-made mags to Russian mags to Bakelite magazines to US-produced X-Tech magazines, and I think that was an AC Unity magazine that I dropped on the ground. I have to be careful because I've been known to break their feed lips. So we're trying all sorts of different types of magazines in these US produced rifles. So let's get started. We'll break the rifle down, show you what the components look like on the inside, and share some of my thoughts about the quality of the firearm. So let's go ahead and start off with the AC Unity magazine. We're just using some Golden Tiger, and it's 7.62x39. It's lacquered and sealed steel cases. I use this quite a bit. We got a tornado watch going on right now, so the wind's kicking up and it's getting kind of dark out there. And we'll start off, I have it on its combat setting on its rear sight, and we'll start off at 100 yards. Let's walk it out to 200. having to contend with a little bit of wind out there. Not a little bit, a lot. The AC Indy mags lock open, the last shot fired. The recoil impulse on the rifle is really, really nice. It's not as heavily gassed as my PSA AKs are. Now, some folks like them heavily gassed, or what some people call overgassed, to increase reliability. But keep in mind, the more gas you give a gun like this, and the more violently that the bolt carrier slams into that rear trunnion, the more likely it is you're going to increase the wear of the firearm and shorten its service life. So having a properly tuned AK is kind of important if you like to shoot it quite a bit. All right, so the Golden Tiger's hitting high. I'm having to aim low. I think we zeroed it with Wolf ammunition the other day. I'm aiming at the very bottom of the target. But you guys get the idea. We've not had any problems with the gun running any of the magazines that we've shot through it so far. And we do have some Wolf out here, as well as some of the Golden Tiger and various other types of ammunition. So we're going to load up some more magazines, break this gun down, show you what it looks like on the inside, and talk about it as compared to one of the other rifles I really like out there right now, which is my PSA AK. This is my triangle folder. You've seen it in video before, but now it has a Bakelite grip on it, and it has actual Russian wood Akm Furniture on it. And if I've done that to the gun, that means I really like it and I enjoy shooting it. So I love the way this rifle looks. But you'll also notice this is original Russian Akm Furniture, and you can see what it looks like next to the Riley. Pretty interesting. We would like to thank our friends over at Big Daddy Unlimited for helping to make today's video possible. If you guys would like to do us a solid, just swing by the Big Daddy Unlimited website and sign up for 99 cents for the first month, and just check out the service that they provide. They're kind of the Sam's Club of the online gun world. So again, please swing by Big Daddy Unlimited and check it out for just 99 cents. That helps us out, keeping the channel flowing, and it gives you an opportunity to pick up some good deals. Looking at the aesthetics of the Riley Defense rifle, the laminate furniture, this is probably the best attempt I've ever seen to reproduce laminate. It's only got one thing I can ding it for. It looks like either hammer, nails, or screws were put into the laminate and then ground down, because they're definitely too big on this side, but they look like the proper pins on the other side. But and then you got another support pin there. On the front, though, it looks like a pin was driven through. Doesn't look like a nail, and it's the same size on the other side. The only thing that's really missing is that little hole that would be normally present on actual Russian-made Akm Furniture. But you can definitely see the laminate in there, and it has a nice red stain to it. It does not have a trapdoor on the butt cap. It is shipping right now with Bakelite grips, but they're saying in the future, they bought a whole bunch of them in the beginning, but they're running out of them, and they're going to try to replicate them, I believe, here in the United States. But that's an original Russian component. It has a, I believe it's a Morsi receiver that's being used in the construction of the rifle. Has the right ribbing for the Akm top cover. The finish seems pretty fair. Now, it came with an enhanced safety lever, which I despise, especially on a classic looking rifle. So this is actually a Russian safety lever I put in there after I cut it to be a semi-auto selector lever only, so I won't drop the hammer when you move it up to clean it or take it out. But yeah, so the finish looks really good on the gun. The only difference I can see is here on the gas tube. Now, I don't know if this is a surplus gas tube or what, but it looks like a polished blue versus the rest of the finish on the rifle. You also notice there's a shiny spot out here on the barrel. Both Jason and I thought that was a step or something cut into the barrel, but it's not, just a smooth spot in the barrel. 14x1 left-hand threads and a standard AK sight tower that's adjustable for windage and elevation. Taking a look inside the rifle. Pretty much just like any other AK. That's really tight. I'm gonna take the gas tube off. But I mean, you can see we've been shooting this thing. So it's said to have a forged hammer, or I'm sorry, bolt and bolt carrier. And the wear on the bolt looks pretty normal to me. I don't see any signs of undue wear. Looks properly cut with the right radiuses in there. On the rear, just a little bit of a flat spot appearing on the carrier tail. Can't really feel much by my finger, not much of a ledge there, but you can see it's polished sharp. Now they are using their own trigger. It's not a Tapco trigger. Tapco's now out of business. They're making these triggers themselves. And I will say it's a really, really nice trigger for as light and as crisp as it is. It's not prone to bump firing off the bench like many light AK triggers are. The Geisley triggers, for example, I'll double up when I'm firing the thing off the bench because the recoil goes back and then your body pushes the gun forward right into your finger and it's like, boop, it fires twice or 3 times sometimes. Not something you want to do because it could be a safety issue on a public range. But everything else inside looks pretty darn good. Now, these things are retailing for right around 800 bucks. They're playing in the same ballpark as the PSA AKs or the Palmetto State Armory AKs that you're finding out there. Kalashnikov USA is still talking about bringing out their 103, which they showcased at SHOT Show, but we haven't seen that on the market yet. I suspect that has something to do with the COVID-19. I know the guys over at Riley said they're really hit hard with purchases and they're short on product, and you already know that PSA is short on product. But the wood furniture on the front looks really, really sharp. It does come with a cleaning rod. I suspect that's a surplus part perhaps, because many of the PSA AKs do not come with a cleaning rod. They claim that's too expensive to produce. So overall, the gun's been reliable, seems to be well made. I don't see any issues with the rivets. The rivets are nice and cleanly pressed and flush. There's no signs of them stretching or anything like that, aside from the bluing salts kind of leaching out and causing corrosion, which easily comes off with a nylon brush and some oil. I can't really fault the thing. It looks nice and clean. You know, the barrel pin is nice and, you know, seated evenly and properly. It looks like a decent rifle. And again, I just wish in the future, if they're going to continue using these laminate stocks, which I hope they do, they kind of, you know, either if they're using nails or screws, leave them out a little bit further so they're the same thickness on both sides, because that really jumps out at me. But other than that, this seems like a really, really interesting little AKM. So this is kind of a sampling of some of the AKs that are currently on the US market. You have the Riley Defense, USA made. You have the Palmetto State Armory, USA made. And this is a Fox carbine from Atlantic Firearms that has both US components and Polish components manufactured by WBP. And so we have companies that are trying to get around the import laws, the restrictions that there are. And then we have other companies that are just trying to make everything right here in the United States if possible. So it's really interesting to watch the evolution of these USA-made AKs. We're going to continue to shoot them. One thing we noticed, we're well over a half a case into shooting the Riley Defense, and today we had our first malfunction. And that was with the Golden Tiger, but we've also been shooting the Barnul and some of the brass case Federal 7.62x39, and we haven't had any malfunctions with the other ammunition, and that was the only malfunction we had with the Golden Tiger. So I don't know if that's going to be an ongoing problem. If it is, I'll send it to the guys at Riley and have them take a look at it. But that was the first and only malfunction we've had with the gun so far. So you're also looking at pretty competitively priced products here in terms of what you're going to find them for available. They're going to be right around the $800 to $900 mark, depending on how you feature these types of AKs. So we're going to continue our evaluation. We'll do some more shooting. We run into any issues or anything like that, we'll definitely report back. If you guys would like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, we are supported by you, our viewing audience. You can do that by joining us over at Patreon. There's a link in the description below. Give that link a click and consider becoming part of our Patreon family, because we don't take money from the gun manufacturers. We're supporting supported by you, so we can be as brutally honest as we need to be. And also, you have the option of joining right here on YouTube underneath the video player on your mobile device or on your desktop. You'll see a little join button. Consider clicking that join button, check out some of the incentives, and consider joining us right here on YouTube. And last but not least, guys, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Thanks for 12 years of support. We'll talk to you guys soon.